ProVision Mentorship is one of several strategic focuses of ProVision Solutions, Inc. I'm Jim Ewing, and mentorship can make a difference. This is one of several interviews with those who've experienced mentorship. Learn from their experiences. Then take a moment and share your experiences on our blog, ProVision Mentorship.
My name is Bill Gray, and I've been involved in developing formalized mentoring programs since 1978. And what I'd like to do today is just share some of the major insights that I've discovered over 30-some years. I would say of everything that I've done in the field of mentoring, the most significant contribution I've made is what I'm going to describe right now. Back in 1978 and 79, I did not know how to create a formalized mentoring program. I simply made an announcement, who wants to be a mentor, and we matched them up with proteges and wished them well. We didn't provide any training, we didn't provide any structures, any real incentives. We didn't know what we were doing. And but by doing research and development, we finally figured it out. And one of the things I discovered through research and development is what makes a relationship work and not work. And I found that when mentoring is working, mentors provide many different kinds of assistance, and proteges are receptive to these different kinds of assistance and will utilize them. They don't reject them. Now, I discovered that because initially, some mentors got stuck providing the same kind of help all the time. For example, they kept giving advice. Or maybe at the other extreme, they would say, no, that's your problem. You go away and think about a solution and come back and tell me what you want to do and I'll support you. So they were one of two extremes. They were either telling proteges what to do or expecting them to figure it out when they couldn't. And those relationships fell apart. Sometimes proteges got stuck. They were so dependent on the mentors. They wanted to pick their brain, ask them questions for every single thing. And the mentors began to withdraw from the relationship, thinking, if I'm not available, they'll have to start thinking for themselves. And those relationships fell apart. At the other extreme, some proteges were so self-determined and imaginative and thought they could figure everything out and self-motivated, and they wouldn't listen to the mentor's wise counsel. And those relationships disintegrated because mentors were asking themselves, why does this person need me? They can do it themselves, they think. Now, one important study that was done was called Breaking the Glass Ceiling by the Center for Creative Leadership. And what was interesting in this particular study is it was a study of informal mentoring that was provided to women in America's corporations as these women were moving up towards the top. So these are top achieving women in America's corporations. And so they interviewed these women and they said, how did you get where you are on the organizational hierarchy? 100% who were succeeding said, I had help from above from a mentor. And so they went and interviewed the mentors, and the mentors said, yes, I did help so-and-so. Now, the mentors at that time were mostly men, because women hadn't broken through the glass ceiling. And so they interviewed the men, and the men confirmed, yes, I helped so-and-so, like she said, and I tried to help somebody else. Well, what happened? She wouldn't listen to my wise counsel, so I withdrew my help. Now remember, this was informal mentoring. It wasn't planned, it wasn't matched, or anything like that, where you're matching partners. It just happened, and those mentors just said, you know, these proteges aren't going to listen. I don't want to be part of their downfall. So they withdrew, and that's what can happen in informal mentoring. So the contribution that I made, that I think has been my most significant, is identifying 4 mentoring styles, and I have them on a little pocket card. It goes right in your pocket. And 2 of the styles equip the protege with what the mentor knows. And this is the classic concept of mentoring. Providing wise counsel, suggestions, advice, doing some coaching, sharing what you know to help the protege get up to speed, learn the ropes, become more competent, fit in, and so on. That's the classic concept of mentoring, and there's nothing wrong with it. It is still needed today. The problem with it, though, is that that concept started when there was no education, there was no formal schooling, there were no books, there was no TV. And so in essence, the mentor was working with a blank slate as a protege, or an empty vessel. And the mentor had to pour into that empty vessel what he or she knew, or else the protege didn't know it and learn it. Well, that's not true today. Every protege, no matter what their age, enters every mentoring relationship knowing something already. And so the mentors have to acknowledge that by empowering what the protege wants to do and learn and become. And so 2 of the mentoring styles I identified: empower the protege, and 2, equip the protege. And when I do training of mentor-protege partners, because it works better to train the partners, when I do training of partners, they start applying this concept of equipping and empowering to deal with real issues. The first mentoring assessment that was included in O.K. Buros' Mental Measurements Yearbook, which is a big, thick Bible of all the assessments, psychometric assessments. The first mentoring assessment was my mentoring style indicator over 20 years ago. It's been our bestseller. About 300,000 copies of it have sold. It's in 11 versions. We have a version for mentoring youth, mentoring new teachers, mentoring new school principals, mentoring college students, mentoring faculty, mentoring new hires, career development, leaders, entrepreneurs, sales and marketing, healthcare, almost anything you can think of, because all of those proteges encounter different kinds of situations and need different kinds of mentoring to help them be successful. But what they all have in common is they need to be equipped and empowered in the right proportions. And that's what the mentoring style indicator helps mentors do with the proteges.
Now it's your turn to share your experience with mentorship. Visit our blog, Provision Mentorship. Make the investment in mentorship today for your success tomorrow.